G'day, I'm Trent Maxwell.
And I'm Leigh Mason.
And we want to welcome you to our Live, Learn, Survive podcast. Since 2018, Leigh and I traveled the globe and met face-to-face with over 30,000 children in 6 countries across 3 continents. We created a series of award-winning children's books, a global online education program, and are founders of the Live, Learn, Survive charity, all focused on teaching children and young adults life skills that not only help themselves but help others too. We're on a mission to spread awareness about fire, water safety, and first aid education to inspire the next generation of first responders. So join us for the next half an hour with some fun, inspiration, and kindness, and we'll try and learn something too. How are you this week, Leigh? Welcome aboard.
Maxie, I am good. How are you?
Well, you're halfway, over halfway of your trip over the UK.
Yeah,
this is another recording.
I'm over halfway. So, are you missing me?
I am missing you. And we're filming or recording all this before you go away. So I hope you're having a fantastic trip. But
it's been great so far.
We have a special guest today.
We do. We love these guests. And this one is extra special, Maxie, because it's a dear friend of ours. So shall I introduce him?
Yeah, well, just before you do, I've been lucky enough to see this person a number of times over in the UK.
We have.
Without further ado.
Okay, tonight, Maxie, this evening, we are joined by Tommy Richardson. So Tommy is the lead for open water safety within Tyne Fire and Rescue Services Education and Engagement Department. He's a serving firefighter and swift water rescue technician within the Tyne Fire and Rescue Service with 19 years of service. In addition, he's been an active water safety advocate for many years, and that's how he came into our world. In the 2018 New Year's Honours List, Tommy received his Queen's Fire Service Medal for his passion and dedication in raising awareness of the dangers in and around open water throughout the UK. Tommy collaborates with many organisations across the UK, including the RoSPA, the RNLI, RLSS and the NFCC, in their aims to deliver life-saving water safety awareness and reduce the number of incidents and fatalities that occur in and around open water. More importantly to us, he's our dear friend, and we love and know him as Throwback Tommy. So we are finally thrilled and excited to have him join us. So Tommy, good morning up there in the motherland in Newcastle upon Tyne. Welcome to our humble little podcast.
Yes, good morning, everybody, and a huge thank you very much for welcoming onto this fantastic podcast today.
Yeah, it's good to see you, Tommy. And, you were just explaining too in the green room, as we say, you're on shift today and you're heading up to do some 3-day training course on the fireboats up the coast. So, mate, thank you for your time.
Yeah, getting up extra early to squeeze us in, Tommy, before a big 3 days.
No, why not? Again, yeah, this is fantastic. Yeah, as Maxie said there, I'm heading up to a lovely place called Berwick upon Tweed, which is on the English-Scottish borders, and the river up there is fantastic. We're going to be doing some powerboat training up there for the next 3 days. So,
great stuff.
Always good.
Incredible. So, we're going to get straight into it. I briefly touched on this in the intro, Tommy. How long have you been a firefighter, and has it always been with Tyne Fire and Rescue?
Yeah, I joined quite late on. I was in my early 30s when I took the step to join the Fire and Rescue Service as a young chap. Something I always wanted to do. Yeah. I'm now in my 19th year and loved every single minute of it. You know, the old cliche where people say, if you find a job that you love, you never work a day in your life. Well, I have found that job and I absolutely love it. I really do. I really do.
That's awesome. So what's your station that you're at the moment, or whereabouts?
The station I'm at is actually at the east end of Newcastle, which obviously, as we know, is in the northeast of England. And within that station, we actually have a water rescue capability. So any inland water rescues, that type of thing, that's where we would do that within the Tyne Fire and Rescue Service area. We've also got 2 frontline appliances there as well, so attending all the incidents that a fire and rescue service would be attending. And again, I've been at that station now for 16 years. So, and to answer your question, Leigh, I've always been with Tyne and we have fire and rescue service as well.
Yeah. So is it so there's different things within the station. So like, when you now, Maxie, are at a station that's predominantly like known as a rescue station.
Yep.
So do you have, is yours a rescue station, Tommy, or does it have different capabilities as well? Forgive me if that's like non-fiery speak.
No, absolutely, yeah. With there's a few stations in town and we have specialisms. So we might have a line rescue station, we may have a heavy rescue station, we have somewhere we've got large appliances called aerial ladder platforms to reach some high-rise buildings and that type of thing. So the station in the East End of Newcastle, which is called Baker Community Fire Station, their specialism is water rescue.
Understood. You answered that very eloquently from my very clumsy question, Tommy. Thank you for that. Absolutely.
That's awesome, mate. And you touched before, but your role, what rank are you now as a firefighter, and what is predominantly your role at your fire station?
So, yes, you're right. I'm still an operational firefighter, and I still do the odd operational shift to keep my competencies up and to keep my skill levels still there or thereabouts. But what I've actually done is I've took a step into our prevention and education department.
Yep.
And within that, I engage with our community, with schools, colleges, all those types of things. And as I say, I lead on water safety, but I also help a colleague that we deliver some road safety as well, and basically deliberate fire setting and also antisocial behaviour bits and pieces as well. So it's a bit of a mix, but I say my passion is around water safety education.
That's amazing.
Yeah. Incredible. And open water swimming, it's taken off incredibly, isn't it, in the UK? I mean, we've been talking about this here, Max. We don't have a similar thing really, do we, in Australia? Like the open water swimming that I see through social media in, lakes. Even in my hometown, I've found out in the last 2 weeks, there's been some an open waters, probably similar to where we went at Caversham, Maxie.
Yep.
And it's like the old gravel pits have been flooded and they've created an inland water park and people are open to water swimming there. This didn't even exist when I was there as a kid, and people are now swimming in it. So it's become really popular, hasn't it, Tommy?
Absolutely. And again, with open water swimming, it's good for your physical health. It's also good for your mental health as well.
Yep.
But with this, we still have got to be very, very careful. And we always tell people, I always say, if this is something you're going to do a bit of research, have a look, see if there's any clubs, any groups of people that do this, because, we know the dangers are out there, cold water shock and so on. So I would always advocate
absolutely
that people do the homework, take a look, see what's involved, and go and speak with people in a local group, that type of thing. Before, I would never ever go and venture on our own, or you must always do this in a controlled group environment.
Absolutely. 100%. And I think this is the thing, is it? They don't show that side of it on Instagram and on social media. They're just showing a sunny day and somewhat, and it's like, it has all its benefits, but it's fraught with danger. And that's why this work that you're doing is even, so important.
Yeah. Yeah. Again, it's getting that balance, because a lot of the people that I talk to are quite young, and the thing that they have in their head is it's okay, it won't happen to me, and I hear this over and over again. So I'm mindful about how I pitch certain things to certain groups of people, and so, and I always say, if there's something you want to do, then by all means, go on the internet, find the local group, go and speak with these people, and do it in a controlled environment, and never ever go venturing on your own, or because things do go wrong, even with these people in groups. Sadly, I've heard stories where people have had, a couple of near misses where they've actually had to be taken out of the water, And luckily, somebody's there with a bit of first aid training, but also can identify when somebody's actually starting to struggle in the water and help them remove them.
Yeah, it's very important to learn all the skills that goes around water, and not just in the water, but outside. If you come across someone that is in the water, not rush into that situation. Always have a flotation device or use rescue equipment. Knowing the hidden dangers, the risks and hazards around these areas as well. Coming into summer, this podcast is going live early July. Nearly in the middle of the summer for you guys over in the UK, but you still have those nicer days, but it can still be quite cold in the water. So cold water shock is definitely a big thing as well.
Absolutely. Yeah, we know, the definition of cold water is anything below 15 degrees. Here in the northeast, we're looking between, 10 and potentially 13, 14 degrees. So we still fall into the category of cold water.
Yep.
And we know what goes with, how that affects and can potentially affect our bodies and our ability to self-rescue and to get ourselves back to the shore or to the bank side of a river. So, yeah, 100%. It's quite a tricky one.
Leigh, it's your turn, number 3.
Yeah, so Maxie, Tommy, we know you as Throwbag Tommy. The Throwbag initiative that you do for water safety is incredible. You introduced us to it, and I know that it's expanded because I've been watching online what's been happening alongside the River Tyne and the restaurants. And tell us all about that, because it is incredible and has been saving lives already. So tell us what it is.
So what happened, I'll take you back. So back in 2017, when I was a full-time operational firefighter, and we attend a lot of incidents on the River Tyne in Newcastle. We've got a very vibrant city. We have lots of people coming in to party really hard. Stag and hen parties and that type of thing. And we don't want that to stop. We want people to come out, enjoy themselves, but at the same time, we want them to go home and to their hotels and after a good night out. So I was thinking, well, we've got all these pubs and clubs along the banks of the Tyne. What could we do? How could we sort of work with them? So if somebody was in the water, what could they do? How could they help? And we, and Maxie to be fully aware of this, what we use as a firefighter, but also within the fire and rescue service, is a piece of rescue equipment called a throw bag. And for those that haven't seen a throw bag, it's a nylon bag that floats, and within the nylon bag there's also line or a rope within that also floats. And I think how it's been successful and why we use it is because it's so simple to use. The bag, you undo the bag, take an arm's length of line out the bag, keep a hold of it, and with your dominant hand, throw this bag at the person that's in the water. They're going to hold onto the bag and you're going to slowly pull them into the side. And it's as simple and as easy as that. I've got children at the age of 5, 4, 6 doing this now, you know what I mean? I'm not expecting them to perform a rescue, but, they love having a go and that type of thing. They know how it works. So I thought, well, how can we engage with the pubs and clubs? So I got in touch with the chair of the Safe on Newcastle board, who also happened to be my local councillor. We invited them along to the station. We explained what we're going to do, go into the pubs, give them a little bit of training, but also provide them with a throw bag free of charge that was donated by a company called SafeQuip here in the Northeast, which was fantastic. And we went and we delivered this training to 5 pubs on the Newcastle quayside. It was well received. We went out to the press, to media, so people could see what we're doing. And again, from there, the RNLI had seen what we had done. They could see the benefits. They could see the potential of this saving lives. So they've come on board. We struck up a joint collaboration with them. An MOU was signed. The RLI have been absolutely fantastic. They provide now the throwbacks. There's also been a booklet which is being produced. So when we're delivering the training, we go page by page through the booklet. Here in the Northeast now, we've got just under 20 businesses trained, and to date, that piece of equipment and that training has actually saved 10 people's lives here in the Northeast, which has been absolutely amazing. It has. I couldn't be prouder. I really couldn't.
Incredible, Tommy. Didn't one life get saved almost within the first week?
It was Yeah, one of the pubs, literally, we had just finished their training. Then the following week, they've used it. That same pub has actually used that training on 5 occasions now.
Wow.
Yeah, it's amazing, mate. And you should be very proud of that initiative that you started. And we were lucky enough to do some stuff with you back in 2018, 2019, upon the Newcastle Tyne. Talking about the Throwbag Initiative and all the stuff that you guys do. And also I was lucky enough to get thrown into the river and be rescued by the boat rescue crews of the fire and rescue. And great experience for training, but you can see for people that find themselves in that cold water on a night out or any other time, it can be quite distressing and chaotic. So it's amazing what you've done, and I look forward to, throughout this chat, finding out about more stories and more things you've done.
Absolutely, Tommy. And you know what? We bought we have some throwbags now, and we use them in the schools. We get the kids playing with them and throwing them and rescuing each other on a stage, and it's like they love it.
Yeah, they do, and I've also done a few videos as well online of how to throw. Not the one over in Ireland where I threw it and it landed on the fire truck. That wasn't good, that one. But yeah, you taught me some of the skills from it too. So when I was in Newcastle, so thank you for that.
Yeah, exactly.
What we've done is actually we bought. Well, I say we. Tyne Fire and Rescue Service bought a really large Velcro target.
Yeah.
Then what we did, we had Velcro sleeves made that would fit around the throw bag.
Oh, wow.
It was just give the kids something just to hit.
So it's a bit
of fun. But at the same time, what I tend to do is, as I'm giving them the talk about the throw bag, how it works, why we use it, I'm also, because I've got them, I'm talking about water safety. I'm giving them why we use this, what we don't do, why we do certain things, who we call. So, I've got a bit of a captive audience and it works really, really well.
Absolutely. Yeah. Brilliant.
Mate, how can people listen to this podcast and around the Newcastle upon Tyne area get involved with the Water Safety Initiative?
With that, the RNLI have on their website, it's called the Waterside Community Responder Scheme. And if they go onto that, they can actually fill in a section there and express an interest, and somebody from the RNLI will get back in touch with them. For those that live, anywhere, I'm saying here in the Northeast, if you were just to contact your local fire station, or the headquarters of the local fire station, the local fire service, they will then put you into contact with the person that, for instance, if you were to phone Tyne and we are, or switchboard would transfer your call to myself or leave a message or give you information, and then we could have that conversation and then arrange a day and a time that's good for you to follow up, and then we come down, deliver the training. The training can take anywhere between an hour to an hour and a half. It's so simple. And again, we will always do this in a day and a time that's good for the business, because we don't want to interfere with at the end of the day, this is something that they are willing and wanting to do. So we don't want to impact their business, let's say, so.
Absolutely incredible. So you mentioned about the throw bags in the restaurants and on the side of the river at the quayside. Have you got any other stories about the device, in another example of how it's been used, just so we can give people different scenarios?
What we've done as well, I've worked with Newcastle City Council, and sadly, the orange plastic life rings, the round rings you've probably have seen
Yep.
around very many, bodies of open water,
Everywhere.
coastal areas, those types of things. Along the Newcastle quayside, sadly, they were being vandalised. They were being thrown into the river by certain individuals. I'll use that word. I could use something stronger, but we'll just keep it clean and family friendly. Yeah, and why people do this, I really don't know. These are pieces of equipment that potentially may be needed to rescue somebody from the water. And the City Council were having them checked on a Thursday, Friday, then going back on a Monday, Tuesday, and I would say over half of them would be missing. They would be thrown in the river or that type of thing. So, and it was costing them tens of thousands of pounds each year for these pieces of equipment. So, working with the City Council, what we've done is we've actually now got boards. You've probably seen them. It's a similar type of thing where you may have a defibrillator in the centre, so you would dial the emergency number, maybe give a code, they would give you access to the defibrillator, you take that out, use it on the person that required it. Well, what we've done is we've put boards up there, and it's exactly the same thing. You dial, ask for an emergency service, they would give them the location code, they will give you the combination number, and within each of these locked boxes is actually a throw bag.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
And again, with that, within the first week of these going live on the Newcastle quayside, one was accessed and successfully used by a passing member of the public.
That's
so
great.
It's, again, I keep on saying I think because they're that simple to use, that's why they're really effective.
And when you think about how the size of them and a space against a great big, life buoy, they're quite compact to create a little kind of box for, so that's incredible. Do you know, you just reminded me, I was in Liverpool last year and I was staying on Albert Dock, and the life buoys that are along the whole of the Albert Dock were literally every 100 meters, and they had a location, and they were so impressive. And what impressed me even more, because again, Liverpool are a huge kind of destination for a night out and people having fun. The Swiftwater rescue team on the dock literally were clocking on at 11 p.m. and it was just, I thought, wow, that did not expect to see that. And it was pretty incredible, but very impressive around Liverpool docks. The whole, set up with locations, water rings, very, very impressive. So, it definitely, people just leave them alone. If you see something like that, why would you touch them?
Yeah, it's
I don't know people's mentality, unfortunately. I don't know why. And I keep on saying, I know it's been in our press because we have had a lot of things going out there saying, these are pieces of life-saving equipment. It is a criminal offence to tamper and to take these things away. But unfortunately, it still happens.
Tommy, we're in Santa Monica, America, a year and a half, 2 years ago, and we went onto the pier. And that's one of the most famous piers, jetties in the world, where they have the carnival and the shops and the lookout over the ocean in California, in LA there. And I couldn't help but notice that there was no emergency equipment anywhere on the pier. And I actually did a video about it. And it's funny, when we put it out there to the people of Los Angeles and America, they were saying it's because it's the end of the line of the Route 66, people steal them. People use it as memorabilia. People use it as, on a bit of a drinking bender, and they think it's funny. But it's awesome that you guys have eliminated those risks of people stealing it and vandalizing it by. It might take a couple of seconds for someone to pull out their phone and call the 999 number to get the details. But it's something. It's better the little delay than nothing being there at all.
Exactly.
Yeah, and again, Maxie, just what you just touched on there, I've had people talk to me about, it's going to take longer to get a hold of one of them. And I says, yes, it is, but potentially, if there's no life ring at all, then
it's always going to be there, mate. It's always going to be there.
100%.
Absolutely.
We spoke a little bit about it before, mate, but before we go into the other questions on the list, can you tell me about some of the hidden dangers and risks that happen in cold water, especially up in Newcastle upon Tyne?
Yeah, as you were saying, obviously your water may be a little bit warmer than what we have here in the UK, and certainly it's a lot colder here in the northeast. But again, as I said before, 15 degrees is what's determined as cold water, and up here we are a couple of degrees below that. What I will say as well, just with the cold water, when I'm doing talks to schools and young community groups, what I'm finding now, and it's honestly, it's fantastic. Young children now, when they're going and they're doing swimming lessons and so on, they're actually being taught about cold water and cold water shock and how it affects their bodies. A few years ago, if I mentioned cold water shock, nobody would have had a clue. Nobody would have known what I was talking about. And also the RNLI's float to live message, where we fight our instincts, we lie on our backs, and we spread our arms and legs out like a starfish. The kids want to talk about this. Everybody just puts their arms up in the air, and it's honestly, it's fantastic now that people are aware of this and the dangers. And just like was touching on there regarding the dangers, yes, okay, the cold water, and we know how that can the effects on our body, the gasping, the increase of heart rate, of blood pressure, and then if we continue, how it can sort of affect our ability to use our arms and our legs. And then if we still continue and we're in the water, hypothermia is a massive thing as well. Again, I know there's been lots of studies done by a lot of fantastic people out there about that ability. And, if we don't get out in time, then potentially, we'll never
Yeah. No, thanks for covering.
Yeah, no, it's incredible because it is, even like it warms up. You get one sunny day. People forget that it takes the water a lot longer to warm up than one day of sunshine. I think it's one of those things, isn't it? Early in the summer where it can be really catch people out. So. Always good to be able to talk about it.
One of the things I have a bit of fun with when I talk to kids, what I say to them is, well, anybody, if you think about having a nice warm shower, and then somebody may flush a toilet or the washing machine may go on, and then the shower goes from being nice and warm to freezing cold. That's the type of shock you're going to get. Yeah. But imagine that happening to you.
Yes.
You're actually in the water. Yeah. And again, you get lots of smiles and lots of hands up, so it can relate to, how cold the water can feel.
Absolutely. And that feeling, Tommy, when who gets the last shower of the day when the tank's empty, who gets the cold one. So exactly. God, that reminds me of being a kid. So you said you came into firefighting a little bit later in your career. What did you do before, and did you get good career advice, Tommy?
Well, when my first job, all I ever wanted to do when I was at school was be a mechanic. I loved engines, I loved motorbikes, I loved cars. So I used to tinker around with things before I left school. Before I left school, and then when I left school, I'd done it was then a 5-year City and Guilds apprenticeship to become a mechanic. I went on and I worked on more of your heavy goods, your large vehicles and your tractors and diggers and that type of thing. And I really, really loved that. But deep down, from being a very young child, the fire service always had a draw to me. This is going to sound silly, but say when you're at school and I'm thinking I'm going back now to the 80s when I was a child, and the girls are to be a nurse, to be this and so on. The boys want to be a police officer or a train driver. And a firefighter was something I was wanting to do, but I never really mentioned that to anybody. It was just something that I thought about, but hadn't really pressed down that line. And as I say, the mechanical side of things was my draw, and I loved that. I worked for the local authority for many, many years, and I loved every minute of doing that. And then from there, I moved on. I went into the office, and I became a contracts manager for the city council, doing a whole host of various things there. But going back to your original question, Leigh, no, I didn't receive as advice. I think it was, again, back then, and I'm not saying it was right, but it was girls were going to be going to an office, they're going to be doing secretarial work, they're going to be a nurse, they're going to be that. A boy was going to be a police officer, was going to be a train driver, was going to work in the shipbuilding side of things, or a builder, a joiner, a bricklayer, and that's where we were, and that's as much as we got, so sadly, no.
See how many words a minute you could type. That was it. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Mate,
incredible.
Mate, best piece of advice you've ever been given?
So with this, it's treat others how you want to be treated yourself. I've always been very polite, and I've always been, the way I approach people, the way I speak to people, it's
a two-way street.
It is absolutely, and I think you get a lot more to people if you speak to them in the correct manner. I was brought up being polite. I still hold doors open for people. I still say good morning, thank you, excuse me. It costs nothing. It really doesn't cost nothing. And sadly, I think a lot of people have lost that side of things. And it's sad. It really is.
It's funny, isn't it? It's like one of those things that's like, and I get, being a little bit old, it would have just been, it was manners. That's how you were brought up, good manners. You were, and it is some of those little things that, it's easy to get lost. And like you say, it costs nothing. And no one likes it if it's done to yourself. So why would you do it to someone else?
Yeah. Just be nice. Be
totally.
kind.
And another thing as well, which I'd been taught off a now retired station manager, was just little steps. I was trying to run a million miles an hour to try and get all these various water safety interventions in, and this, and knocking on doors and so on. He's just saying, just little steps. Keep on knocking on doors. The doors will open and you will progress, but don't go, just take it nice and easy, bit at a time. And again, that's something I've always stuck in my mind as well,
It's all progress, isn't it? Sorry, Maxie.
I was just going to say, the small steps lead to bigger distances and longer journeys. So, that's really good advice.
Exactly. Brilliant.
All right. Leigh, you're up.
Is it me next? Yeah. Oh, yeah, it is me. So, most stressful part of the journey so far, Tommy? What's been the stressful bit?
Maxie, you'll probably be able to relate to this, but one of the most stressful parts of being a firefighter is actually the initial training. The training course. I left a really good job, really well-paid job within the local authority, and I joined a 16-week training course, and doing that, I halved my income immediately, because I was then going back down to
start again.
And it was just the not knowing, and then could I make it? Was I going to get to the end? Was I going to pass out? And fortunately, yes, I did. It was hard. As I was saying, I was in my early 30s, so the studying and the exams and whatever, they were things that I had done many, many years ago. And then to sit in a classroom with nearly 30 people and have to do that over again, that was really stressful. The practical side of things, I think because of my mechanical background, how things work, the pump, the cutting equipment that we use, that type of thing, I sort of got that and found that quite easy. But as for the exams and the studying, that's where I did struggle, and it was really, really stressful. Coming in every Friday, having a shower, sitting down, writing me study notes, doing this, then ironing me stuff for Monday morning, and then
it's very regimented.
Away we go again. You remember them days, Maxie?
Yeah, I do, mate. I do, and it's not just getting your uniform and putting out wet stuff on hot stuff. There's a lot more to it. You need to learn the special operation guidelines. You need to learn, safety guidelines. You need to know specs and specs about equipment that you're using. There's so much to it that a lot of people don't realize the study that goes in it. And you're constantly studying, the urban search and rescue courses coming up. You got senior firefighter courses, leading firefighter exams, station officer exams. It's good. Every day's a school day. You keep pushing yourself, but I could definitely see how that could be a bit of a stress for someone that was in a different job and what you used to. So hats off to you, mate. And that leads into the next question. How did you deal with that stress, or how do you deal with stress now? How do you deal with it?
Again, I've got a fantastic wife, Julie. She's massive, in my life. She's really supportive. I can come in and we can talk about anything. When I was going through this, she also went through it. She was doing the study card. She could tell you about certain pressures and about the limitations of various pieces of equipment. We did it together, and we still joke about that today. But I can offload on Julie, and again, she always knows, what you're quiet, or you don't see yourself. She picks up on these certain things, and it's good to talk. I've got some really, really good close friends at the station. And then if we have a bit of a not nice job within Tyne and we've got a trauma support team who would come in and have those conversations with crew members. And, if somebody is really struggling, they could signpost that person to specialist help should they need it. So, stress. And I love gardening. I've got my garden. I love my garden. I get out there, and I've got quite a huge toy pond as well. So I've got fish, and I just love to sit and just sit by that and just watch them swim. Awesome. That just brings me down.
Yeah, you know what? It's something like it's so like communicating, be it with your peers, your partner, your friends, just having people to offload to, and then like your garden, back to nature. Getting outside, and you'll be getting your garden ready for spring then, Tommy.
We're just coming up to spring. Well, hopefully, fingers crossed, we're now moving into our summer. So, flowers are starting to come out. And, and again, it's love to get out there. In the morning, I normally have a cup of coffee and I go out there. Maybe later on the day, I might have something cold in my hand. But, it's my go-to place.
That's awesome.
Awesome. So, next career goal, Tommy. What's next on Tommy's list?
Right. Well, because of my age and my time in, I'm potentially going to be retiring in about 18 months' time.
Woo!
That's awesome, mate. So, retirement.
So, I'm going to... But I've had conversations. I've had people come and approach me from other water safety organisations, let's say, that are wanting me to talk with them when that time comes. So I would love potentially to do some work with them.
That's amazing.
It's good to have things lined up.
Yeah, I couldn't retire and do nothing. That's not me. That's
Nah.
certainly not me. But I wouldn't do something full time. But I would love to come and help and support another organisation, another charity. Maybe even do something with the fire service. I don't know.
You've got so much knowledge, Tommy. You've got so much passion. You know, you like your energy. You can just, you know, it is who you are. You would never be able to just park that and go and, you know, do something different. It is who you are. So I think you'll, while you are, you know, wandering around anywhere around Newcastle, you're going to have a throwbag in your hand telling somebody about it. I just know it.
People out, mate. That's you through and through.
Absolutely.
Just on that, Leigh, just on that, I do actually have a throwbag in the back of my car.
So there you go, mate.
If I am somewhere and somebody's in danger, I can easily pull over and use that piece of equipment.
Absolutely. There's not many times between how many flights have we done, Maxie, now in Australia with the throwbag? There's one not 10 metres away from where I'm sat, Tommy. You've left an impression on us.
Yeah.
We were like, what's this throwbag, Tommy? You know, and like now Maxie's got one in Sydney, I've got one in Queensland. They're part of our kit.
Yeah. That's good stuff, mate.
There you go.
Mate, you said you're a mechanic after school, but this next question, if you weren't a firefighter now, what would you be?
Do you know what it is? And again, another hard question because leaving the city council was a really tough decision to make. I think it was a lot to do. Obviously, yes, we know that we attend work for money, but I wasn't enjoying the work I was doing. I was there because it come along. So I may still be at the local authority. Maybe doing a different job, doing something different.
Yeah. So maybe something with the local councils, like the local society that you said you do. So you probably would have been still there, maybe.
Yeah. Again, with that, you know, I've been deemed a people's person. So will I be doing something with a group of people? You know, working for the charity, engaging our
community.
It is, and I'm glad.
Yeah.
I'm glad I have joined the fire service. It's been brilliant. It's not the path I thought it would take, and obviously, you know, where I am now to where I thought I was when I very first joined. But yeah, I've really enjoyed it. I've met some fantastic people, both in service but also outside of the service as well. And
it is absolutely the perfect job for you. It's almost like there was never there wouldn't ever be a plan B, because it's like you're in the perfect job, Tommy. I think that it's like Maxie, you know, it's like there's no plan B because he's in the perfect job. So you know, that's what it is. So if somebody in your community wanted to join the fire service, what steps do you take in the UK? Because we've probably got a lot of people listening that want to be first responders and things like that. So what would the route be in the UK for wanting to be a firefighter?
Within Tyne we are, and I'm sure this is repeated throughout the UK, on our internet website. Down the side, it's normally careers and vacancies, and on there, there's a link on there asking you, so if you want to become a firefighter, and it just gives you certain things. Do you think you could work at height, work in darkness, work in confined space? So maybe if you're not very good at height, or you're not very good in a darkened confined space, then maybe being a firefighter mightn't be the job for you.
I just think I've got 3 out of 3 failed the application there, Tommy. But no, the fire services, they sometimes do have really good websites, don't they, and resources on there of frequently asked questions, and when the recruitment kind of, you know, so it's like annually in New South Wales, isn't it, Maxie? They do an annual recruitment. Is it similar to that as well, Tommy?
What we do is we've actually got a rolling a role in recruitment. So at the moment,
Ah.
it's literally just opened in Tyne, and the process it's quite a lengthy one. So from filling an
Yeah.
application form in, to doing a fitness test, to doing a written exam, then you have a medical role related testing. So there is a lot to do
To it.
Yeah.
before you actually are assigned onto the course. But again, with that there, you can express an interest, so you can put your details in, and then the next course that comes up, they'll contact you to say, just to let you know, our next intake will be happening in said month, and they'll keep you informed that way. Social media is a massive thing. Facebook, Twitter, or X as it is now,
Yeah.
Instagram, and so on. A lot of places put that out with, taster sessions. You may go down
Yeah.
for half a day, and just to find out if it's something that will appeal to you. But another thing as well, Leigh, which people tend to forget is, yes, firefighting is one of the roles in the fire service, but we've got a huge range of jobs.
Yeah.
I talk to people about, the clothes that we wear. That's got to come from something. Our appliances, our vehicles have got to be repaired and got to be fixed. IT department
Yeah.
is huge because everything we use. So, yes, firefighting is one of the things, but again, we've got a fantastic lot of people behind us, providing us with equipment,
To make
even
it
paying
happen.
our
Like other
wages.
roles.
Yes.
So I've got a question, because we asked this of a female firefighter in New South Wales. If you join the service, do you always do a mainstream firefighter role first, or can you join the service with a view to go into something that doesn't involve firefighting, or does everybody that comes into the service firefight first and then channel off to something else?
I think what happens is you would come in as a firefighter. You would then, once you've come to your endpoint assessment, and then you become a competent firefighter.
Yeah.
It's at that point there where you could maybe decide to go down a different route, whether it
Yes.
be fire safety, whether it be
Yeah.
prevention and education, and so on.
Yeah.
And then you may feel like you may want to change stations. So as
Yeah.
Maxie was saying before, the station that he's at, they do various different types of rescue. You mentioned urban search and rescue. They may have line rescue and that type of thing. So animal rescue and so on. So you could then move.
So you come in as your firefighter, get your competent firefighter, and then you can diversify into other
Move around.
areas. Excellent, excellent, excellent.
Mate,
Ooh.
we're getting towards the back end of the chat, but what advice would you give to your 16-year-old self?
With this year, I would say in the latter years of school, stick in more and take me final exams more seriously,
Yeah.
because I didn't. I had it in my head that all I ever wanted to do was to be a mechanic. So everything else just switched off. Yes, I got acceptable marks. Could I have done better? Absolutely. But yeah, it was just, I just wanted to get out them doors as quickly as I possibly could, and to go and work in a place that I know that I would have loved and did fall in love with, and that was fixing vehicles. Yeah.
So there you go, kids. Get stuck in. Uncle Tommy said, get stuck in. Revision. So what are we now? Coming up to, in the UK, what? Be starting getting into exam time. Get stuck in.
So
Get stuck in.
Take it seriously, because again, what we do now, people don't think that, this is going to affect us for the rest of our lives, but it does.
Yeah. And it is tough. It is tougher now. We could get away with not having a degree or things like that. It is tougher now for, younger people. And I think the pressure on them is so much more as well. And it's like, get stuck in. But the other thing is remember, you just do your best, and that's all you can do. If you've got stuck in and done your best, nobody can ask any more of you. Exactly. So no, good advice, Tommy. Good advice.
All right, Leigh, last question for you.
So Maxie, I did that earlier today. Tommy, not Maxie. Playlist. We have a global playlist. You catching up with the boys later. You're getting in the car. You're heading out west up the river. What song are you going to put on the playlist to lift everybody's mood and know you're going to have a great day?
Again, this is something I had to think about. And again, Maxie, excuse me, I am going back some years. Yeah,
we have no age. We're not ageist on
stuff,
this. We're not ageist on here, Tommy.
I like the classic stuff. Beethoven, it's good.
No. No, out with the group, I would say Van Halen and Jump.
Jump. Great song.
Great song.
Great song.
I don't think that's actually in there, Maxie.
No, it's great. Not. It's not.
Oh,
Van Halen. That is a classic song, that one. So I'm adding that right now to the playlist.
I thought he was going to frog on the Tynes, all mine, frog on.
Well, Tommy, your number. So not only this is your first podcast, but we've also just added our 200th song to our playlist. So there's a first and a 200th for everything. And thank you. That's a really great ad. It is a great song.
Absolutely. So you are heading off today up the river with the crew, training?
Yes, that's right. Unfortunately, this was already planned, but in the northeast we received some tragic news over the weekend, and again, as we touched on before, we are moving into the summer. We've had quite a glorious weekend here. The sun has been out, and just a small distance from Newcastle in Ovingdon, which is in Northumberland. Sadly, 13 and 14-year-old boys got into difficulty in the River Tyne up there. I believe they were using a swing off a tree. One boy jumped into the water, got into difficulty, couldn't get out, shouting for help. His friend, who was on the bankside, jumped in to try to rescue that person. They've both got into difficulty, and sadly, the body of one of the boys was recovered just a little bit further down, and the other boy that jumped in initially, he is fighting for his life in one of our accident emergency hospitals in intensive care. So I really hope and pray that this person pulls through and he makes a full recovery. But to finish off, I urge people, we spoke about the cold water shock, we spoke about the hazards and that type of thing. This needs to be taken seriously. We're losing too many people over the years to drowning, not just here in the UK, but worldwide. One of the things I talk to the kids about is getting in is the easy part. It's getting out that's the hard part. Will it be because there's muddy, grassy banks? Will it be because there's steep sides with no ladders, with no walkways to get out? And I tell people, not if somebody's in the water, not to jump in after them, to pick up the phone, to dial the emergency service, but also look around, see if there's a piece of water rescue equipment that could be there, even if there might be a branch from a tree or something you can reach out to that person just to pull them into the side. It's been quite a sad weekend here in the northeast.
Absolutely. And it's only May, like you say, it's not even yet summer, it's only spring, the first warm weather, and ends in tragedy for two families there that those boys probably had no intention of going in that river. They were on a piece of a string or swinging and something snapped, or just tragic. Sorry, Maxie, you were going to say.
No, I was just going to say, adding on to Tommy, it's just very important that people know their surroundings. Tragic for the emergency crews and for your team, Tommy, that had to deal with it. And it's tragic, but we need to get the message out further and more, and get people talking about, especially for you guys coming to summer. Leigh, you're going to be over in a couple of weeks.
I am.
It's tragic how many drownings happen all year round, but especially around summer. And we just need to keep doing what we're doing. Tommy, you've done an amazing job thus far with everything you've done in Newcastle upon Tyne and the Tyne and Weir Fire Service, and you continue to do some great stuff. And we're in the same boat. We just hope people that are listening to this podcast, if you are going to be anywhere near water, rivers, lakes, dams, beaches, watering holes, just be careful. Know your surroundings. Have a mobile phone with you. Know your situation. Have situational awareness and know what to do if a situation was to arise, because tragedies do happen to all sorts of people.
They do.
Absolutely. And Tommy, you are doing an absolutely incredible job. And, when things like this happen, it just reinforces why we all care and do what we do and are so passionate about it, because, it doesn't matter how many times you say the message. It's only got to be the one voice that hears it, the one person that takes it on board, and then they might share it with a friend. And then, hopefully more families are safe and more kids go home safe. And, that's what unites us as a bond as friends, and forever will do, because, we all just care. So, hats off to the guys going out training today, and, thoughts with all of the community up there as, two families, come to terms with what's happened. So, incredibly sad.
It is, absolutely. And again, as you said there, we want people to go out and enjoy these places. They're fantastic places to be. We've mentioned before the physical, the mental health side of things. But again, as Maxie said there, let's go out there, let's enjoy ourselves. If you don't know the dangers, go on a website, Google these things, Google cold water shock, Google the areas you're going to. Here in the UK, we've got the RNLI, we've got the RLSS, we've got a company called RoSPA as well. Again, they've got information on there telling you the do's and don'ts, beach flags, what to look out for, and again, if there's any signs there saying don't enter the water, they're there for a reason. Let's not ignore any warnings that are there.
And our Instagram as well, Live, Learn, Survive, it's full of Maxie talking about free tips. It's all free. There's heaps of stuff on our Facebook. There's a YouTube channel full of stuff. Just go find it and have a look. Wherever, there is so much information out there. Just go and, try and, give yourself a bit of knowledge before you go. 100%. Because everybody thinks it will never happen to you. And sadly, it does. You guys are out there weekly for people having their worst day. And if people didn't have their worst day, you guys wouldn't have a job. And I don't think there's been a day when you're not busy. So things do go wrong, and knowledge is everything. So,
exactly right.
if people can find it, then, it might save one life. And that's why we do it all. So thank you, Tommy. I'm sorry you've all had such a awful weekend. And like you say, summer's not even hit. Maxie and I have such fond memories of the day we spent with you on the quayside at the Tyne, and we've been up 3 times up to South Shields.
Yeah, we have. It's great.
We're ambassadors for the club there. Sadly, I won't have Maxie with me as I pop in this time, but I will be seeing everybody in a couple of weeks, and I'm genuinely really excited to see everybody. So it will be nice, and I will have Maxie with me in spirit.
Yeah, I'm sure you will. Again, thank you very, very much for the both of you for inviting me along to this, me very first podcast. It's been fantastic. And again, I follow the work that you do on the social media platforms, and it's absolutely amazing. And I'm sure you are making a huge difference through education, through the people you are. You're two of the fantastic people I've ever met. Very bubbly, easy to get on with, and honestly, you are both amazing, and
thanks, Tommy. It's really
it's a
nice
pleasure.
to say, mate.
It's a pleasure to know you both.
Yeah. Bless you, Tommy, and likewise, you're just like I say, you're just a your energy, your passion just comes out of your face. It just smiles all over your face. So, we'll catch up in a couple of weeks. And thanks for doing this, because so many people will learn something from this. So we have actually just 1 hour, Tommy, of absolute magic.
Yeah.
So much information for people. So we know you've got a really busy day ahead, and we really, really are grateful for you getting up early for us.
Yeah,
No
Tommy,
problem at all.
I just want to say thanks again for coming on, mate. Unfortunately, I won't see you in a couple of weeks, but keep up the good work, and I hope the next 3 days goes well, and keep doing what you're doing, because it is making an impact as well. So,
and I'll see you soon. I'm on my way with a big hug, Tommy. I'll see you soon. Okay. Take care, everyone.
Stay on, Tommy. Just we'll have a chat after this, but we'll finish up now. All right, guys.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye now. Bye.